Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel and the home of the No Money Road to Glory. If you're new around here, don't forget to leave subscribe because we've got 90% of you unsubscribed. We get a lot of new viewers. But look, I've got 450,000 coins at this point, a stacked club, and loads of good players, not to name them. If you're new around here, we're going to see an episode of how I've got there. Essentially, the shift that I'm making because I'm basically giving up this 450k team to then focus on driving more coins and making upwards of 500,000 coins in this episode and the changes I'm making. As well as that, I'll be showing what you need to make a good team to compete. And finally, from that bit, I'm going to tell you a bit about my mindset and the road to glory. But without further ado, let's get into the first episode. So let's talk about the foundations of how I started out and how I've got to around 400k. I've bought a couple of players, so you see 409 in the top right hand corner. But look, it has been a grind from the grind up. I've got a couple of rules basically where it encourages me to play with players more, not make as many transfers and sell players because you do lose tax. But throughout the season and the series in my previous videos, you'll see that I've done like cheap starter teams, hidden gems. Is the draft worth it? And also the bronze pack method of how you can make coins and what I've been doing to make profit. And look, I've also had a couple of rewards and I have got lucky. I can't lie about that. I've actually had good luck this year, but still not as good as other people who are putting hundreds of thousands of pounds into the game. Hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands, lots of money into the game where I'm coming up against Mbappe, all of that, loads of icons. But look, there's a big shift that I'm going to be making at the moment, and I want you guys to follow the journey. So let me know what you're thinking by leaving a comment and like if you're enjoying the series so far. But you can see on screen, my rewards have been okay at best. Like I have had a Rodrigo, I've had a Pacho, I've had from my FUT Champs rewards where I am winning, I do get some stuff, but it's nowhere near as good as anyone. So let's get into what we're all here for. And this initially is going to be the investment focus. So I had a good team here. I had Van Nistelrooy up front. I had Musiala behind, Rodrigo at right. And this is a 450k team. I went into FUT Champs and thought, okay, let's try it. But pretty quickly, I ended up getting maybe 8 wins, which is worse than my last week. I sold the team and had 450k. So what did I do? I went straight back to a meta team with 150k. You guys probably know that the market is crashing right now. It is not a good time to be holding these high rated players. So I've gone to a meta team, which I know I can compete, which cost me about 90k coins. I've got some untradables. So that's the real focus, is get a meta team and then focus on the tactics. So you can see some from Tex, FC Hullet, and Matt HD Gamer and some other teams, but go and take their tactics and put them into your team because that's going to help you compete. I'm currently in Division 4 and you can see the team that I'm running is basically a 4-2-1-3, very meta, with 2 inside forwards, advanced forward striker, shadow striker at cam, in defensive midfield we've got Bergvall and Tonali playing in a holding role and a deep line playmaker. You can really pick on that. I would advise having a defensive midfielder as well, like on holding, and then defenders on defend, fullbacks on either balance or defend. But that's the team that I'm going to be rolling with for probably the next 20 to 30 games, or at least week on the game, so I can accumulate coins. But that's the overall tactic that I've got for the next bit. And now we move on to the investments part. This is the big picture, right? So I've clocked a few trading methods and I was looking at 86s last year to see what their price was. You could see that there is a bit of an uptick next week, typically in 86s, small percentage. Then we went into 85s and you could see that there's actually a higher peak, but still not necessarily the best one there. But 84s this week look like they're going to explode. So I'm going to be investing heavily in 84 rated players. You can see the overall value goes. I wanted to check what it's currently like as well. 86s are kind of on an uptick. 85s are on an uptick. 86s have probably hit their peak from what I'm seeing. But the 85 window as well is also hitting that sort of peak, which isn't looking so great as an investment opportunity. But those 84s are where I see from last year, I think they're still quite undervalued. So I'm going to be picking up those with the majority of my coins. 83s was something I evaluated on FUTBin. Take a look at the market index, it's really good. I'm not that confident, but I will pick up a few. So now I've gone over to FUTBin again, looked for the cheapest 84 players that I can possibly pick up. That's De Vrij, here Palacios and Lukaku. So I'm going to be picking up these guys for about 1,400 coins, as well as maybe making a few 83 investments as well at 750 coins. We've got Mancini, Dovbyk, and Lobotka, I think, as well. So they're going to be players that I'm picking up as much as possible. So I ended up going to do this later in the day. I ended up getting a lot of Madisons as well. Loads of Lukaku's, where I've got basically 10 players of untradables. I also decided to make a couple of investments because I did buy Stiller at 30k. I personally think he's going to continue to go up. You can see here I also had a bit of got a good snipe here at 41k. If you want to see it, let me know how to do sniping. I can do that. Let me know in the comments. But overall, this is what we're working with now. We've got quite a few. Well, we've got 10 pages of 84s, which I'm going to be selling. I'm down to 72k. Got two Stillers, a couple of Gunters, where I personally think those cornerstones, because the chemistry is going to go up. But Stiller has that tactical, the tiki-taka play style, as well as also some other really good play style, like stats as well. And he's one of the better CDMs. I have probably got around 20k, which I'm going to be investing a little bit further into the market. But then I want to allow myself 50k, because a lot of it's about mentality, guys. Like, you're not going to enjoy playing the game if you don't invest in the squad you're playing with. So I'm thinking about getting Leao, maybe Evo, a couple of players, and I've got Loftus-Cheek in my club, so I might include him, or switch it up a bit. I've ticked off my rivals for this week, but I'm going to be going into FUT Champs with this team. But aside from that, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. And this has been the end of the episode. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think for more of the No Money Road to Glory. I've been Jack Wobb. Peace out.